I think a lot of what's happening, I mean, there is so much happening and nothing is happening inside of a vacuum. And so I think that even, especially with silver and gold, it is also interconnected with what's just happened in the monetary system with the Genius Act, utilizing these stable coins and this big, huge push in that new direction. And so I think that part of what we're witnessing, besides the technicals, because certainly the break of this resistance level to a new high is going to be a bigger push. And, silver's got this huge cup formation. It's actually the biggest double cup formation I've ever seen. If you go all the way back to the 80s, I mean, this is tremendous. And so I'm thinking that by the end of the year or shortly thereafter, I think we're very likely to see the spot silver market hit that $50 resistance level. And what I'm looking for is for it to go through it. And once it goes through it, even if it's for a minute and then you get a little bit of work off. And even at these levels, silver is not fully priced to its true fundamental value, so yeah. Silver always walks a really interesting tightrope to me because it is the second monetary metal, but it's also hugely an industrial metal. So because whenever anything is named such, then it's just the opposite. And you have to remember, I've been studying currencies and currency life cycles since 1987.
Wow.
What people do not realize is that when that act was signed, the new, at least this term system, this is not over. And I want everybody to 100% understand that what I'm saying doesn't mean that, this was a no big deal and we've just shifted and okay, because it doesn't work like that. But they have to get adoption, and they did it, between 2009 and they did it up until they signed the Genius Act, and now they're getting even more massive adoption, and we're all going to be forced into that adoption. But I believe there is not one doubt in my mind, and I could certainly be wrong, but this is such an extreme feeling for me. And typically when I get these feelings like this, then I'm never wrong. Timing is different, but I'm never wrong about this. The easier and cheaper it is to make new money, the easier and cheaper it is to make new fiat money, more fiat money will be made. And this is a repetition of 1914 when they installed the Federal Reserve, and then they used corporate debt, so corporate balance sheets, to turn into Federal Reserve notes and create a whole bunch of money. And people lost about 50% of their purchasing power between 1913. It really started in 1914 because they were legalized the end of 13. But that really started in 1914, and you can see that 10-to-1 ratio. Well, now with this, you've got corporations again cooperating to create this market because, of course, who's the one that benefits, right? Corporations. Right. Now create this money out of thin air. What that does is, number one, it expands the money that's out there, but it also is about, and I've said this before, creating artificial demand for dollars, because where it used to be gold backed, then it was petro backed. Now you're looking at the stable coins having to back the dollar to continue to give it a level of relevance, along with the fact that these corporations now are being forced to, they'd have to buy treasuries as well. So for the government, aside from this making a shift from a paper debt-based system into a digital purchase based system, which is what we're looking at here, that to me, my biggest concern is that we have already technically, in my opinion, based on the M2 velocity, entered a period of hyperinflation. Here you go. This is the tool to usher it in. That's my biggest concern. Especially since it's done just like when Nixon took us off the gold standard, and I was there for that. And granted, I wasn't an adult, but I was like 17 years old, something like that. So I was old enough for a certain level of awareness. And as brilliant as my family was, and I used to love to listen to my parents and aunts and uncles talk while they were playing penny ante poker, because I'd learned so much about the Depression and World War II and all of that. These are the things that they used to talk about. And yet, you know, what do they say? Well, this isn't really going to impact that. Yes, it is, because we just shifted to an entirely new system. They don't want you to realize it, because by the time you realize it, you will be fully integrated into it, and there ain't nothing you're going to be able to do. So you got to get prepared now. I mean, you better have physical gold and silver in your possession, because I'm telling you, there is no doubt in my mind, we are fast headed toward the hyperinflation. The first thing I would say is call us and let us help you educate yourself. But I sit on the advisory board of the Citizens for Sound Money, and that is actually a global sound money movement. And I think this is an extremely important opportunity to get sound money back in the monetary system again after the collapse. So as the younger generation comes up, and my grandson is one of those who he's 12, but he really understands sound money. He likes to accumulate silver.
Nice.
He talked me into selling him gold all day long at $15 for a coin. But he really wants to be involved. So it's having these conversations and going to the Citizens for Sound Money movement and seeing what you can do to actually participate in your local government in getting sound money back in the system, because this is really who the fight is for. It's not for me. I'm old. I have plenty. And I'm not even really worried about my family because of what I've done for myself and them. It's for everybody else's future, because there is no greater fight than the fight for our children's future. And that's been sold down the river. And it's not okay with me.